Welcome to the Halloween-a-thon 2021, where I watch 31 movies throughout the month of October that I've never seen before. These are going to either be horror movies, monster movies, Halloween-related movies, just basically anything that'll get you in the spirit for Halloween. I'm not going to do reviews, but I'm just going to give you my general thoughts on each film, so let's begin. Number 1, Hellraiser. This movie had some great special effects. It was super creepy and is definitely worthy of its cult following. Number 2, Hellbound, Hellraiser 2. I honestly had no clue what was going on in this movie, but the new Cenobite was pretty badass though. Number 3, Psycho Goreman. This movie was like a disturbing Power Rangers villains movie, and I kind of liked it. It was really funny and dark, but I honestly feel like it could have been a more polished film. Number 4, Rasputin, the Mad Monk. This movie stars Christopher Lee as a homeless-looking evil prophet guy. I'm kind of on the fence whether or not it's actually horror or not, but IMDb says it is, so it counts. Number 5, Straight Outta Nowhere, Scooby-Doo meets Courage the Cowardly Dog. This movie is a great mashup for fans of both series. It does have a weird rap in it that I thought was a little unnecessary, but I do like how it gave the backstory to why Nowhere is such a strange place. Number 6, The Addams Family 2. I think that this one was better than the first one. I really enjoyed the visuals and all the subtle adult humor. Number 7, Practical Magic. This was a really girly movie, but it did have a really cool driving scene at the beginning, and at the end, when the witches all put their hands together, it makes a really cool door slam sound. Number 8, C.H.U.D. I mainly watched this movie so I could understand all the C.H.U.D references I've heard in various media over the years. There's a cool decapitation scene in it though, and that boosted it from a 4 out of 10 to a 5 out of 10. Number 9, Interview with the Vampire. This was a refreshing movie to watch after a series of average quality films. I really enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would, and I would highly recommend watching it. Number 10, Queen of the Damned. This movie is supposed to be a loose sequel to Interview with the Vampire. And by loose, I mean it has one character that's the same, and the timelines don't match up, so there's no way it can actually even be a sequel. It has a completely different feel than that movie, and is kind of Twilight-esque, honestly. I do like how it has an early 2000s metal and industrial soundtrack, though, and I really like how the Vampires band is performed by Korn. Number 11, Slumber Party Massacre. This movie had a lot of nudity as filler in it. It was kind of slow starting out, but picks up as the film goes on, and the murder weapon's pretty cool. Number 12, Slumber Party Massacre 2. This movie has a pretty cheesy musical number in it. The murder scenes are entertaining, but the rest of the movie is horrible. Number 13, Slumber Party Massacre 3. This movie is better than the second, but still not quite as good as the first. The filler seems to humanize the characters more than just exploiting their bodies like the first one did, but in the end, it's still just filler. Number 14, Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein. This movie has a pretty misleading title because there's honestly more of Dracula and the Wolfman than there is Frankenstein in the film. I'd say though, if you're a fan of Universal monsters or classic comedy, you should still give the film a watch. Number 15, Halloween Kills. I only took away 2 things from this movie. 1, evil dies tonight. And 2, I'm the one who has to kill Michael Myers. Number 16, Return of the Living Dead, Part 3. I really enjoyed all the color and the lighting in this film, and the special effects were great too. They weren't quite as on par with the first movie, but overall I still enjoyed Part 3 way better than I enjoyed Part 2. Number 17, Benny Loves You. This was a really off-the-wall movie. I did, however, enjoy the innocence of the Benny character, even though he was a deadly killer. Number 18, Train to Busan. This movie was a really well-made film, full of action, drama, and extremely scary zombies. I really did enjoy how the characters had a lot of depth to them as well. Number 19, Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon. This is a documentary-style movie that's about a slasher killer that seems like a cool, laid-back guy by day. It stars Nathan Basel, who I was lucky enough to meet at a convention earlier this year. He's actually who told me about the film, and I'm glad he did because I really enjoyed it. Number 20, Texas Chainsaw 3D. This movie gets points for some pretty cool kills, but loses a lot of points for all of its horrible horror movie cliches and predictability. I think the worst part about this movie is it's supposed to be a direct sequel to the 1974 Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but it takes place in 2013. But there's a character that's 25 in 2013 that was supposed to be a baby during the original in 1974, which would make her like 40 in this movie, not in her 20s. So, yeah. Basically, it was just a mess. Number 21, Mandy. I really like the cinematography and score of this film. It feels really surreal, and it fits the plot of the movie perfectly. It's a good movie to watch at least once, but I honestly don't see myself watching it again anytime soon. Number 22, Dracula. Yeah, believe it or not, this is the first time I've seen this movie. There's not really much I can say about it that hasn't already been said, but I will say that I thought it was kind of interesting that they didn't show Dracula's fate on camera. Number 23, Nightbreed. Yeah, I had no idea what was going on in this movie. Number 24, Ghostbusters, Answer the Call. It goes without saying that this obviously wasn't as good as the originals, but it still wasn't bad. And I really enjoyed how the special effects went outside the letterbox in whatever version of the movie I was watching. Number 25, Shin Godzilla. I actually enjoyed the human aspects of this movie more than the Godzilla parts. It was an interesting take on Godzilla with a twist ending that was, yeah, it was something. Number 26, Head of the Family. Well, there's some pretty interesting sex scenes in this movie if you're into that sort of thing. Full moon movies are usually hit and miss with me, but this one's worth checking out. Number 27, If I Die Before I Wake. This movie is based in realism and has some pretty dark moments in it. It's definitely suspenseful. Number 28, Summer Camp Nightmare. Some might argue that this isn't actually a horror movie, but once again, IMDb says it is, so we're gonna count it. I actually watched this movie because I got to meet actor Tom Findlay earlier this year, and he's a pretty cool guy. Number 29, Little Shop of Horrors. Surprisingly enough, I think this is the only movie I watched this year that had Dick Miller in it. It was cheesy, but in a charming way. Number 30, Carrie. This movie wasn't quite as good as I expected it to be, but I still really enjoyed the film. I will say that the camera technique of making the camera go around in a circle while they were dancing was really nauseating. Number 31, Trick or Treat. Not to be confused with Trick or Treat. It was kind of interesting watching this after Carrie because there's a lot of similar themes between both movies. I really liked all the 80s metal references and cameos. It had some pretty interesting concepts. I think if it was done right, a modern day remake of this would be pretty awesome. Well, there you have it. There's all 31 movies I watched this year. I was kind of hoping that there would be some more higher end movies in the list, but I guess it's better than having a bunch of really bad ones in it. If anyone at home did the challenge themselves, feel free to leave your list of movies in the comments, because I would really like to check them out. It might give me some ideas of what to watch next year for my marathon. Anyway, I hope you all had a happy Halloween, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.